I've talked a lot about Ilia Topuria, Max Holloway in the past before, but like this is, in my opinion, the best fight the UFC can make in 2024 in terms of technique, in terms of maybe even star power in many ways.
Exactly.
But here's why. It's two killers on a collision course, right? First being Ilia Topuria, undefeated champion, just took out Alexander Volkanovski in a brutal knockout in the second round, taking on a truly like battle-hardened, tested veteran in Max Holloway. What can be said about Max Holloway that hasn't been said before? Blessed has been around in the UFC since, I think, if I'm not mistaken, 2012. In terms of longevity, it's incredibly difficult to stay in the UFC for a long period of time, and not just a long period of time, to stay at the elite level. Sure, there are a lot of doubts cast on Ilia's win over Alexander Volkanovski. People say, like, you know, Volkanovski was not ready after being knocked out by Islam just a few months prior. And sure, there is some truth in that statement. Fighters should not come back anywhere with 6 to 7 months when you've been knocked out. You should take that kind of time off. I think he came back in maybe about 3. That was a really bad idea. And with a guy like Ilia Topuria who punches so hard, the margin for error is so little. Like you can't make mistakes with that guy. And the only mistake Volk made, he paid for it. He got his back up against the fence and got cracked because of that. On the other hand, we have Max Holloway, last victory against Justin Gaethje at UFC 300. We all saw the fight. I picked Max Holloway to beat Justin Gaethje down simply because Max Holloway is a better boxer. The guy outboxed Jose Aldo. True veteran, battle-tested, battle-hardened veteran. I mean, if there is a better fight in the UFC at the lighter weight classes, I don't know what it is. Maybe Islam versus Arman, but even then, it doesn't have that spice. The second reason why this is probably the best fight the UFC can make in 2024 is simply because of the styles that these two guys fight at, right? One is basically a one-punch hitter, like a guy who basically has the touch of death. The vaunted fuck you power I keep on talking about. Ilia Topuria has fuck you squared power. Like the guy is putting out dudes at higher weight classes. Fight with Jay Herbert. I mean, dude, Jay Herbert was not the same doll when Ilia hit him. Every part of his body just went limp when he fell. I've very rarely in my 22 years of watching mixed martial arts have I seen such a violent knockout. His face almost goes towards the back of his head. It was nuts. And this was that. Like Jay Herbert was like basically got murdered by Ilia. Max is death by 1,000 cuts. Yes, he has KO power, and people will point out, yeah, he's got KO. Yes, he does. He has incredible KO power. But it comes after a lot of punishment. Like he put Korean Zombie through the paces before he beat him down, before he knocked him out with that shot in, I think, the 4th round. Same with Justin Gaethje, hit him with a beautiful spinning back kick in the first round, end of the first round, and just laid on the punishment until the iconic, you know, point to the mat moment. Even the fight, what if it plays out that way, right? Like what if Max is constantly peppering him with like strikes, constantly, and then Ilia hits him with one solid blow, knocks him down. Like who's won that round? Like these are the kind of things I think about, and these are the kind of like things that play in my mind when it comes to fights like this. Max, again, stance switcher. Ilia more orthodox, very good leg kicks as well. Max has been susceptible to leg kicks, so there's that going into the fight as well. Just in terms of technique and the kind of offensive capabilities that each fighter brings to the table. Another reason why this is the best fight the UFC could make in 2024 is simply because nobody else but Max deserves the title shot right now at featherweight. The fight at UFC 300 really cemented that. He won the BMF title, had already had 3 cracks at Alexander Volkanovski, and he's the only guy really to like sort of stifle Max's style. Conor beat him, but that was the Conor of 2015, 2016. Like, that was a different fighter, man. Like, since then, Max has rattled off a bunch of wins, and the only guy who's beaten him then, who's taken him to the distance at featherweight, is Volkanovski. Yes, he lost at lightweight to Dustin, but then that's at lightweight, so I don't really count that. But the guys that he's beaten at featherweight are just like a bunch of contenders. Arnold Allen, before he could really fight for the title, took him out. Took out Yair Rodriguez, took out Brian Ortega, but the Justin Gaethje fight was where you could see like the affirmation of all the skills. Knocked out Justin Gaethje out cold. He's beaten everyone else at featherweight. There's nobody else to fight. Who else could he fight? Do we give Diego Lopez, Max Holloway, and again let him take out another contender? No, right? You've got to build up more contenders for a guy like Ilia to fight if he beats Max. So nobody else deserves his title shot more than Max, and that's why it makes it a very, very intriguing fight.
ये बड़ी अच्छी बात कही आप.
Both fighters are fan favorite fighters. Yeah, a lot of people don't like Ilia Topuria because of his arrogant and cocky style. But dude, you're 15-0, crushing top pound for pound fighters. Who's not going to have an ego?
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
Like if I was kicking ass at like the top of bantamweight division, dude, I'd be insufferable, right? Like, I mean, the fact that Ilia is just cocky is okay. Like, that's what he's supposed to be. He's the UFC featherweight champion. Like, what are you supposed to be? Humble? Like that? I don't understand this about people sometimes. Like, they don't like fighters because, oh, he's too cocky. Yeah, no shit. Like, they're fighters. That's what they're supposed to be. You have to lie to yourself to be the best, right? Or how are you going to get there? That's just the way it goes with a lot of fighters. Max is the complete opposite. Max is a fan favorite because he's the humble, everyday man. Like, the goofy dude from Hawaii who beats the shit out of people. But he's not exactly that. He's married to like one of the hottest women in the world.
Naughty हो रहा.
Like a killer life. But he's very relatable to the modern young man. Ilia's the cocky, confident, brash, like, the guy you love to hate. The dude that kicked your ass in high school. The handsome dude that kicked the jock that beat your ass in high school. That's Ilia. Yes, he's Rico Suave.
Rico Suave.
Yeah, so he's that. He's basically the guy with the rose in his mouth, the guy who talks in Spanish, hot girlfriend, all of that. He's that dude. He's the Chad. Max is the everyday normal nerd, plays video games, streams. I've never seen Ilia play video games like Fortnite or whatever the kids play these days. But Max is all in this. He's like Call of Duty, Warzone all the time, streaming. Right? It's like completely two different personalities meeting in the cage. Different styles, different personalities, completely different people. Even like look at the way they're built. Ilia's built like a tank, short, stocky, everything is built. Max is tall, lanky, and fights like that. What an intriguing, like just human story there is in this fight, right? Like just two completely different kinds of people have to like show off their styles and like settle it in the octagon. I mean, I can't wait for that. It's guaranteed to be a banger of a fight. There's no way that this fight is not like fun. Max Holloway refuses to fight boring. So does Ilia Topuria. So yeah, that's Ilia Topuria taking on Max Holloway, UFC 308, the main event at Saudi Arabia, at Abu Dhabi. My mistake, Abu Dhabi at UFC 308. The one other fight I'm really intrigued about in this card is Rob Whittaker versus, what do I say about Khamzat Chimaev? The missing Khamzat Chimaev. Incredible fighter. Just power in his fists, aggression, ferocity. Just doesn't seem to want to fight, or like his body can't hold up to illness. So I don't know what it is. Just in terms of pure skill set, Khamzat Chimaev is a terrifying human being. Elite wrestling, incredible submission game. Did you guys watch the recent video where he was grappling with Luke Rockhold? Dude, he owned Luke Rockhold, right? Like this guy, I think he could just walk into CGI and like at least do incredibly well, or ADCC and do incredibly well. Incredible grappler. Very, very powerful dude on the hands as well. Yes, makes a couple of mistakes here and there. But again, he fights as a stance switcher. He fights both at southpaw and orthodox. He's taking on Robert Whittaker, former middleweight champion from Australia. He's only lost to really quality opponents, apart from Court McGee. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, the Izzy fights, and Dricus du Plessis. Everyone else they've put in front of him, he's beaten. He's beaten Jared Cannonier. He's beaten Ikram Aliskerov, knocked him out. Fought a whole bunch of dudes. Fought Darren Till. I mean, fought Marvin Vittori. Robert Whittaker's gone through the middleweight gauntlet and only lost to champions, Dricus du Plessis and Israel Adesanya. So, if Khamzat Chimaev can beat Robert Whittaker, it just means that he's a championship level fighter and should be fighting for the championship belt next. But, and this is a big but, we're 2 weeks away from the fight and I don't know if this dude's going to show up. Right? Like there's this entire thing of you never know when he gets sick or like something, his body falls apart. Like nobody knows. Right? Khamzat Chimaev has become undependable. Shavkat Rakhmonov is everything that Khamzat Chimaev thought he was going to be. Active, getting towards the championship. This guy was supposed to be fight at welterweight, moved up to middleweight, and now like falling out of fights. The fight before this with Robert Whittaker was cancelled. I mean, it's just been one thing after the other with Khamzat. Hopefully he's got his shit together, because this is a real test for him. Robert Whittaker is no walkover, right? So if there's anything, it's the susceptibility to the right jab from southpaw. Every time he's fought southpaws, that's been the money maker. Even with Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, caught him doing a transition with a right hand from southpaw. So watch out for that. It's an incredible fight. I hope you guys enjoyed our presentation of these two fights for UFC 308. Thank you so much for joining us. This is me, Andrew, saying bye from Live MMA and all the production team. And remember, guys, live MMA now.